Diego Maradona was 5'5", a short man with eyes like cannons, a torso carved by struggle, and the left foot that carried the hopes of nations. He wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't sculpted in the image of Greek statues like Pelé or Cristiano. But the ball chose him. It kissed his boot, clung to him like ivy as if it had finally found the one man who would never betray it. He played a game no one else dared to play, a game that was as much rebellion as it was art. Football is a cruel sport. It takes away more than it gives. One slip, one bad bounce, one missed chance, and you're nothing. But Diego made the ball behave like an obedient pet, a childhood friend, a co-conspirator. He turned cruelty into grace. He turned chaos into geometry. He didn't just play football, he made it confess its secrets. But to understand Maradona, you can't start on the pitch. You have to go to Villa Fiorito. You have to step in the mud streets with no pavement, into the shack with 7 people under one roof, into the hunger that sits on the chest like a weight. You have to wake up at 4 a.m. with his father, a man whose hands were torn by labor, whose body bent under the cruelty of survival. Diego was not supposed to rise from this. Kids like him were supposed to disappear into factories or prisons, swallowed whole by poverty. Yet there he was, a boy with a ball, deciding that this scrap of leather was his salvation, his weapon, his escape. He started playing for Argentinos Juniors at 11. By 15, he was supporting his family. Imagine that. Most of us at 15 can't decide what we want for lunch, and Diego was feeding 7 mouths. His dream wasn't trophies. It was a house for his parents, running water, dignity. Football wasn't just a game, it was redemption. Every goal was food on the table. Every dribble was one step further from Villa Fiorito. And from that hunger came something greater than talent, conviction. Diego wasn't simply good, he was inevitable. Defenders twice his size bounced off him like drunks trying to catch smoke. His balance defied physics. His brain worked faster than legs could move. He once said in Italy he had divine balance. Too fast and he'd lose his technique. Too slow and he'd be useless. That was Maradona in essence, a tightrope walker on a wire no one else dared to climb, finding perfection in imperfection. But genius never comes without a shadow. Maradona was fueled by anger, by a sense of injustice. He rebelled against authority, against systems, against the polished idea of what a professional athlete should be. He was a cheat. He was a rebel, he was a liar, he was also a genius, and somehow all of these things coexisted in one body. Mexico, 1986. The world stage. Argentina versus England. The ball floated in the air of the Azteca Stadium, and Diego rose, not like a striker, not like a giant, but like a thief. He punched it with the hand of God. To some, it was a disgrace. To others, divine justice. Argentina was still bleeding from the Malvinas War, from the humiliation of defeat. That punch was not just a goal, it was a clear scar turned into a fist. 4 minutes later, he gave us immortality, the goal of the century. He picked up the ball in his own half, and like a man possessed, he wove through the English as though he were cutting through paper, leaving them sprawled in his wake. It wasn't just a goal, it was vengeance turned into poetry. It was a nation reclaiming its pride. It was Diego saying to the world, we may be small, but we will not bow. This is why Maradona transcends football. He wasn't just a player, he was a mirror. He showed us greatness, but also weakness, triumph and collapse. He was a man of contradictions, adored yet reviled, godlike yet self-destructive. He cheated, he lied, he broke himself in public view, but he never hid, he never pretended. In an age where heroes are airbrushed into icons, Diego gave us his sins along with his brilliance. He was raw, he was authentic, and maybe that's why people worshipped him. Not because he was perfect, but because he wasn't. Pelé was elegance. Messi, perfection. Cristiano is a machine. Maradona was life itself. Messy, loud, glorious, tragic. He stumbled, he fell, he crawled back, he sinned, he rose, he fought, he lived. And isn't that why people lined the streets when he died? Not just in Buenos Aires, not just in Naples, but across the world. Because Diego represented something universal. The will to rise above what the world tells you are. The courage to fight when you're undersized, underestimated, and overwhelmed. The conviction to carry your people, your nation, on your shoulders and dare the world to stop you. He taught us that greatness isn't about spotless records or polished images. It's about heart. It's about conviction. It's about daring to take the ball at your feet when the world is against you and saying, I will not lose. Diego Maradona was not perfect, but he was unforgettable. He was fury and grace, rebellion and artistry, sin and salvation, all wrapped up into one 5'5" body. He was proof that the world can be conquered, not by the tallest, strongest, or richest, but by the ones who refuse to bow. And so, Diego remains not just in the dusty reels of football history, not just in the grainy footage of Mexico, '86, but in every dreamer born into poverty, in every kid with nothing but a ball, and belief in every person who understands that flaws do not cancel greatness, they make it human. Diego Armando Maradona, a man, a myth, an imperfect God, and perhaps the greatest rebel the world has ever seen.